Alright everybody, this is Austin at the Best I Can Afford Antiques channel. Came to show you something pretty neat today. Now obviously that's a blade of some sort. Let me proceed. Etched beautifully all along the blade. I think until about midway. This is an 1800s Prussian officer's parade sword, I believe. Now, Prussia is pretty interesting. Prussia was kind of like a state in Germany, as I understand it. And it originated in like 1525. And then went as a monarchy until 1918. And then it was replaced by several governments real quickly. I think like it was a republic for a second, and then maybe a dictatorship or something, a parliament. And then it didn't actually disappear until 1945 under the Nazis, or under a treaty that affected the Nazis. Oh, am I allowed to say that? I mean, it's historical information. If YouTube, like, penalizes me for saying that word when I'm really just talking about German history, I'd be upset. So yeah, Prussia, being what they were, had a very efficient and well-organized military. They were known for being an excellent military. So this is a remnant from that era. Now, there's one issue with it. The guard is sort of loosey-goosey here, and there's a missing spring. Let me see if I can get that a little better. There's a missing spring right here. So what should happen as you put this in your sheath, the guard should collapse and shouldn't poke you in the hip and stuff while you're running, riding a horse, all that stuff. And then when you pull it back out, you would have to hold this down, and then it would pop back out because there's a levered spring under here that would go in the hinge and press against the handle somehow. And, this would kind of like boink out. Is that the appropriate terminology? So what I'd like to do now, please understand that this is a thing of value that I will treat delicately. The only other one I've seen currently for sale is €700. This is not an inexpensive thing, and I'm going to treat it very delicately. But one thing that we have to do is remove the hilt. Now the hilt is the handle. That's what that's called in sword people talk. Now, I tried to do this very gently by hand. Do you see the finial right here? I believe the finial is concealing a threaded end of a rat tail. I've looked this up a little bit, and I believe that's what we'll find. Now, since I couldn't undo this by hand, I'm going to have to use a tool. And I'm going to have to be extremely delicate. Now, again, I'm a mechanic, and I don't usually talk about this, but I've worked on things like, Porsche 356s, like newer Porsches, newer BMWs. I've worked on several. I don't try to church it up too much. I'm not an incredible mechanic. I'm not super experienced. I've only been doing it for 5 or 6 years, so I mean, I've only done some things. I can't just replace the transmission on autopilot, but I do know how to handle things very delicately, and I'm actually pretty good at my job. So what I'm going to do for safety of the metalwork on this finial, and finial is F-I-N-I-A-L, I'm going to put a rubber glove in several layers around the finial. That way I'm protecting it from the metal teeth of the pliers I'm going to use. And I'm just as gently as possible going to try and twist that. And look at that. Perfectly. And it was so easy. I can't believe how easy that was. I couldn't even touch it with my hands. It wasn't coming at all. So very gently. Because if we damage the threads on this, we're in quite a bit of trouble. No, maybe not. Oh my word. Don't worry. I've got a little bowl, a completely modern, nothing bowl over here to hold used gloves, because I'd rather, wash them out or alcohol them or something than just throw them away. I mean, I'm not doing anything too strenuous with these. I can't quite tell. Maybe I didn't turn it the first time. Maybe I just thought I did. Don't worry. This is going to be just fine. I don't know. I don't want to use any tools too much more. So yeah, we'll leave that in the condition it's in, and we'll figure out something that's I wonder if it screws back in. Oh, okay. We actually had it. I just needed to man it a little bit more. Now I am shining up this edge a little bit just by handling it, so that's something to note. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Now, something else you'll have to note, if you do this to your own sword, the edge, the cutting edge, goes the same way as the guard. I've actually seen these installed upside down and stuff. I believe somebody was just having an issue with this, or maybe I just read a post about it a few days ago. And look at that. Look at that gorgeous little finial threaded inside. Now, we can't mess up the threads to this because I sincerely doubt it matches any modern thread pitch. We're just going to wiggle that a bit, and hopefully it'll give up the ghost. It's not very sharp down towards the bottom, so don't worry about my hand or anything. Ooh, that is tighty whitey. I'm wondering if I don't have to. Do you see this little? It's not quite a bolt or anything. I wonder if I can get the light in there for you. Obviously, this is all for us to learn, so we might have to come back to this because I'm not sure if that is also holding the hilt on, or if that's solely for the hand guard. So yeah, we might have to come back and do a little more to this. But I would think with how loose that is, that it's not really holding this in at all. I don't have a piece of wood in here right now, but what you can do is, oh, well, that's all loose too. Come on, buddy. What's your, oh, there we go. Just a little bit of wedgeification. Okay. So there is an indent for this. It must be a bolt of some sort that holds it in place right there. And that's definitely loose, because you can just wiggle that as you will. So yes, this is actually perfect that we're taking those off. And oh my goodness, look at that. Look at that, we can actually see sort of his guts now. So we're going to keep going with this. Now, we need to make sure none of this falls apart. We need to know exactly how it goes back on and how it came off. So I'm not pulling on this part of this finial. this section right here. Do not pull on that, because I believe that could come loose of the handle, and then you'd discombobulate all your wire wrapping. If you feel like doing that for the next 2 hours, I suppose you could, but I don't know why you would. So just very gently, we're working this, basically this D-ring down the rat tail. Making sure we don't mess anybody up. And there we go, just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. It feels like you have to wiggle it just a little bit as it goes down. Kind of loses its own orientation. Obviously, this is not a thing you want to force hard, because, you know, threads on something this old, you don't want to damage them, because you're not fixing them anytime soon. And look at that. We're getting her out. Now, we're not going to do the reassembly right now, because I need to figure out how to fix this spring. So I need to figure out what I'm going to replace it with. And we'll talk more about it. And look at that gorgeous hilt. You know what? I'm going to take the handguard off so that it can lay flat, because I see the finial wants to move around a bunch, so we'll just let him lay as he lay. And I am going to take a nylon brush and clean up all this corrosion in here, which is actually likely from the sword blade itself. So there's the inside of that. And oh, you know what? It's because the pin or screw or whatever is entirely missing. So I think, I don't know exactly what we'll use to put through there. It's sort of an odd shaped hole. I think it must just be like a dowel pin. So yeah, I think you would, let me make sure I'm getting that in the light for you here. There should be some sword people pretty interested in this. So here's here's just a blank hole, and it looks like this backside is pretty thin. So yeah, I believe you're just going to want to put a dowel pin through that, and then use a punch to expand it once it's in the appropriate position. But first we're going to have to either figure out a way to put a spring in here without removing the hinge pin. Can you guys see the hinge pin? Is it focusing correctly? So there's a hinge pin that runs through that. And it looks like we would either put that in a vise and punch it through one side or the other, or we can try and thread a spring through this. Maybe some type of just one coil spring. So yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys think about this. I'm very interested. This is the first time I've ever seen one of these collapsible handguards apart and stuff, so I mean, hopefully the people that also have one will find me on Facebook and tell me a little bit more about this, and then I will be prepared to repair it in a somewhat professional fashion. And like I said, I'm going to very gently take a nylon brush and just clean up some of this corrosion that's around it. And I think I might do the same to the blade, maybe with gun oil. Now, I'm not trying to take away its patina. What I am trying to do is stop this surface corrosion. This is like a gritty rust that you can feel on the top. And I mean, a lot of people say, you know, sword's never been cleaned. Blah, 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 blah. I don't care about that. That's super gross to me. What I like is maintaining a treasure that also belongs to the future. This is not just mine. This will one day be in someone else's hands, and I would like to show it the utmost consideration and respect, just as I would a customer's car, just as I would anybody's anything, because I am that person. I respect the fact that you had to make money and work hard and and eventually you were able to afford something like this. So I will be treating this with compassion and care. So we need to find the right thing, and we need to stop any further corrosion from damaging this. Because obviously the engraving is going to be the first thing to go once that's all been lost. So yeah, this is Austin at the Best I Could Afford Antiques channel with a Prussian, sort of a small sword, sort of a rapier. And we will talk more about it, and we will fix it. And maybe one day we'll pass it along to somebody else, but for now, I mean, I'm pretty happy holding it. Here are all of its disassembled bits and bobs. We will treat them very carefully, and we will make them better than when they came to us, but still showing the age and patina. We just need to stop this, we just need to stop that surface muck. That's not going to fly with me. I mean, look at that. That's an actual grit of rust. We don't need that. Let's get rid of that. Again, nylon brush and gun oil. That should be fine for old carbon steel. And yeah. So yeah, this is Austin at the Best I Can Afford Antiques channel. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Come back for more. We always got something weird going on. Always taking something apart, learning about something. Find me on Facebook. Message me if I've done something wrong, or if you want to stop me from doing something wrong. I'd appreciate it if you did that before I did the thing that I was about to do. This is Austin at the Best I Can Afford Antiques channel. Always a pleasure. Super nice talking to you guys. Hopefully you comment and just let me know what you think.